Okay, so we're going to be working on the egg hunt quest today, and I think that this is going to be a pretty easy one. And that's because, if you recall, when we set up our proxy, we noticed that the script had already, in the parser script, already had an init clause there, and after digging around in the code in Ghidra, turns out that my assumption was at least mostly correct, in that there is a function that is called at the entry when the game world loads. It's the init for quests, right? So as you can see here in the background, when we have when we have the print commands running on that one, when the game world loads, it parses all of that information and then spits it back out for us, which gives us the name and location of these quest objects. Now, as it turns out, digging around in the Ghidra code, I don't think it's cheating too much to use that, because, well, I mean, it's not cheating anyway. It's using something that's already written is certainly not cheating, but it wouldn't have done much anyway, because as it turns out, all of this is in the code in Ghidra anyway. It would have been real easy to reverse engineer. As a matter of fact, you'll notice that what I've done is copied and pasted our eggs and locations here, so that we can teleport to them fairly easily. You'll notice that one of the eggs, the 10th egg in this case, is not listed as Golden Egg 9, it's listed as Balmer Peak Egg. And I thought that that was funny, because it's also right next to a Balmer Peak poster. So I figured probably it's as easy as just finding the 9 golden eggs, but there's probably a trick with the 10th. And so what I did is I searched through the code in Ghidra for the Balmer Peak egg. I went down that rabbit hole, following all of the things back, until eventually in Ghidra I did find in the Balmer Peak. Let's see, this was in the so the Balmer Peak egg namespace led me to the the Balmer Peak poster led me to the Balmer Peak egg, and then it turns out that if we probably can't see this, let me bring this back up here, and then switch screens. There we go. I suppose it's probably. All right, so anyway, so looking back, we see that the cowboy coder is mentioned in this function, and it says here, damage Balmer Peak poster, and then it seems like then it calls the Balmer Peak egg. So I think we've even already figured out what the trick is. So the first thing that we're going to do, though, is we're going to get in the game world. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to fire up Cheat Engine. We're going to get our X, Y, and Z back. And then we'll teleport to all of these golden eggs. I've already found 2 of them, but I don't know which. I can't recall which 2. And the other golden eggs don't give a location. So, I'm going to teleport around and get the golden eggs. But first, let me fire up the game and get Cheat Engine going, and I'll be right back with you. All right, we got Cheat Engine, and we got the game up and running. I'm back here at the town. And now let's find our X, Y, and Z, and then start teleporting around. So I'm going to use the same process I used for Unbearable Revenge. We did successfully teleport, in that case, to the tree. So we're just going to do this again. We're going to scan for an unknown value, because I believe that this is a float, if I remember correctly. Not that it matters, we'll still scan for it anyway. Anyway, so let's do our first scan here. Oh, yeah. No. Unknown value. There we go. First scan. All right, because I don't know what my current values of any of my X, Y, and Z's are. And remember, I'm going to keep using the terms X, Y, and Z, even though we figured out that there's actually 4 variables for your current location, because it seems that the game is using quaternions. But that's okay. For all practical purposes, in terms of teleportation and the identification of objects, we really only need X, Y, and Z in order for us to get where we need to go. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But because I don't currently know what any of those values are, we're going to scan for that unknown value. And we can see we have 211 million results, which is a lot of variables to go through. That's far too many to go through by hand. Now, I don't know what my x and y are. And again, x and y in this case, I'm going to say, I'm going to use those terms to represent essentially our position along a two-dimensional plane, where if we imagine a completely flat landscape, our position where we are on that landscape, whether it's positive or negative, if the center of that landscape, for example, is 0. Whereas z, when I use that term, I'm going to refer to our position up or down, above or below that that theoretical two-dimensional plane that's at 0. So I can't figure out x and y because I don't have any idea where 0 is, and so, how am I going to know if I'm increasing or decreasing values? But what we can control, or what we can rather better anticipate is, or not better anticipate, what we can better weed out is our z variable, because we can very easily control the height of our character simply by moving up or down, and that we know will create a positive, an increase, or a negative, a decrease in that variable. So that's easier for us to find. So if we find z, usually in most games in general, when you're dealing with vector positions, all of those are going to be right next to each other. So if we find z, then we can just look at variables that are changing near that location, and then that will help us identify x and y. All right, so we've scanned for an unknown value because I don't know what z equals right now. But if I go back into the game, I can go up to a higher spot, and we know that that should increase the value of z, and so we will search for an increased value. And that gets us from 211 million to 1 million, which is much better, but that's still far too many to weed through by hand. So I'm going to go into the game. I'm not going to move at all. I'm going to turn the camera. I'm going to use my mana. I'm going to switch items. And then I'm going to scan for an unchanged value. Because doing those actions in the game should change any coincidental variables. Not any, but it will change many variables that coincidentally happened to have increased in that time frame when we did our first scan and second scan. So doing that, we're now at 785,000, which isn't too bad. I mean, we went out and killed about 25k of those variables. So now I'm going to scan for a decreased value, and I'm not going to hit the scan button. First, I'm going to go back in the game, and I'm going to decrease that value by going to a lower spot. Do our next scan. And then I'm going to do the same thing where I turn the camera slightly, and then I'm going to search for an unchanged value. And then I'm going to just hit next scan a couple of times, simply because standing here doing nothing, any variables that were coincidental, like coincidentally matched all of the criteria so far. So it would be, it was an unknown. So any variable that increased, stayed the same, and then decreased coincidentally would also be weeded out just by standing here, because some of those variables are changing all the time. You see, each time we hit it, we go down by a couple of hundred, which is great. But if we keep doing this, that's going to take forever. So let's go back and forth, and all we're going to do is just keep doing what we're doing. And if we do this long enough, we will most certainly weed out eventually to our a few, at least a small enough number of variables that we'll be able to check. So now I'm searching for an increased value, and we're at 40,000, and now I'm going to search for an increased value again. I just need to find a higher spot. So if I go over here to the mountains, you can see we still have our speed hack on, so traveling is a lot less painful than it has otherwise been. All right, and that is a big increase, so let's do a next scan. In that case, it looks like we also switched zones, which will also help us to change some of those variables. All right, now I'm not moving, I'm just turning the camera. We'll do an unchanged value. Next scan, we're down to 8,000. All right, let's search for a decreased value, and then leap off this mountain. All right. Now we're down to 1,600. Search for an unchanged value. 1630, 1608, 1601. All right. Let's search for another decreased value, and we're going to jump down a little bit lower. Scan down to 214, so we're getting real close, real close. Many of these seem to have very similar values. But recall, we're actually not dealing with just one position location in this game. We've discovered that we're actually dealing with at least 2 and more likely 3 position locations. One of those position locations is for our actor object, which if I hit P here to go to third person, you can see we have an actor object. We can see that avatar here. However, when we go into first person, we can no longer see that actor object. So what is changing when we go from first person to second person? If that actor object is always there, and it must be because there's a lot of functions that depend upon the location of that actor object, then what is moving when we go from second to third person? Well, the answer is at least one of our other position vectors, which is the camera position, right? So there is a camera and a player objects, right? The actual avatar. They're 2 separate things, and both of those have different positions. So if I go to third person, some of these variables are likely changing somewhere down at the bottom of the list. All right, let's go back up a bit and search for an increased value, because we're getting real close here to the point where we can almost start weeding these out by hand. 188. Oh, right, so as I was saying, some of these look like they have very similar values, and they will, because we're dealing with at least 2, maybe 3 positions, and those positions, of course, are going to span multiple memory addresses. So, and now we're looking for a decreased value. Okay, and now we're going to look for an unchanged value. Looks like we're not losing anymore unless we're actually doing something in the game world. So let's go back here and let's search for a decreased value and go to a slightly lower spot. 132. Let's see, are we at a point here where we can start maybe testing some of these? I'm just taking a look to see what happens when I move, because some of these are changing drastically while the key is depressed, and that would tell me that that is probably not our location. Right? Yeah, so I don't think that it is the top one, because that actually increased weirdly when I went down. And it's not, it doesn't seem to actually be directly correlating with my actor's position, so it's probably not that. And these should not be the same. So search for a changed value. 116 now. These float values don't look like the same as we were dealing with before, so it's probably not these. Get rid of these from our list. I mean, unless I'm doing something slightly different than I did last time, but I don't think so. This is definitely not it. And that's definitely not it. Okay. Down to 60. All right, we're going to search for an increased value. We're going to climb up the mountain a bit. Okay, scan and see if we lose any more. 60, no, okay. All right, so we're getting down to it here. Let me compare to the first scan so I can see what we were originally at. Because all right, so these ones up here, so these ones down here that started at 0, obviously, when our character was instantiated over, when we were standing over there by the town, rather, we were not at Z position 0. And some of these are really odd values I can probably discount. It's just really these up here at the top. Let me get rid of these. All right, so it's really these 22 that actually look like they were position vectors. Let's hop back in the game. Let's walk back over to the town, which is over here. And you see how some of these are jumping around really crazy? They're definitely not position vectors. They must maybe have something to do with where we are in the world, but you and probably you are not what we're looking for. And we're down to 13, and all of them are fairly similar in value, but that's fine. We have enough here that we can start testing. We've only got 13 of them. Now, how do we test this? Well, if we lock our Z position and then we try to change it, then Cheat Engine should reset that to the original value, and which basically means we won't be able to move along the Z vector. So if we do this and then simply try to jump, okay, we were able to change our Z position, and so that's not it. And we have a couple of them here that are now really weird values. So it's not these or that one. Those. All right. Even fewer now to weed through. We only got 6. Not that one. A more methodical way to go about this would be with binary testing, where we select half of our values and enable those, and if it doesn't hit one, then we know the value we're looking for is in the second half, and if it is, then we know it's in that half, and then we select half of those, and half of those, and half of those until we get where we're going. But I've got 6 values to weed through, and I'm not really feeling too bad about having to do... Okay, so it was actually none of these. None of these are the ones that we're looking for. So at some point along the way, we accidentally weeded out our real value that we're looking for, which is unfortunate. And sometimes that happens. My process isn't always perfect, and who knows what might have happened. Right? I might have accidentally scanned for increases when it should have been decreases, but who knows. Let's see if we can find what we're looking for, however, if we browse the memory region. And then, hold on, let me bring this over here so you can see what's going on. All right, so now if I jump, yep. So we have a lot of values moving. This is certainly not the area of memory that we're looking. It's something to do with positions, but it's not the position that we're looking for. Neither is that. I may just start the scan process all over again. That would probably be the quickest way to go. There's another thing that we can do, though, by the way. Let me move this so you can see what's going on. Another thing that should be very nearby our actor position is the other information associated with our actor, like, for example, our mana or health or currently selected item, that kind of a thing. So what we could do is, well, you know what? Let me show you the infinite mana trick anyway, because if we're going to be doing a new scan, we'll do a new scan. I'm going to search for 4-byte value. And for scan, and now we're going to use up some mana. And that means we're going to be looking for a compared to last scan decreased value. And since it's regenerating, now we're going to look for a value that is increasing since the last scan. And there you go, easy enough. We're able to find what we're looking for. It's one of these addresses that is coinciding with our current mana value. It's a question of which one is the originator. So if we would access this address, yes, let's attach a debugger. Some mana. It's not this one. I can't remember if I actually checked this one now. Yeah, no, that's not it. Exact value 100. Okay. There we go. Player get mana. All right. Now, if we look and see what's happening here with this, the money is right here, right? Along this line. We have a move instruction. And what we're moving is to EAX, which is right here's the value of that 64. But ECX plus this address, so we're actually looking for, it's saying to write to this location plus this. And if we look at ECX, we have this memory address. And since our mana is associated with our player character, then ECX is most probably the area of memory that contains our player object information. And then ECX, so this memory address plus this must be where the mana is being stored, right? So let me get rid of this and bring this back. And let's hop to, so go to address, and we're going to put the location that is the ECX value in that function. And you can see here's my player name. It looks like I got a location here, Lost Cave. I'm at the town, but whatever. I mean, this must be it. If I use up some of the mana, then you can see which addresses are changing, right? And one of those is going to be the address that we jumped to plus BC, right? As a matter of fact, it looks like it's the one that's in red right there. But there's a good chance that some of these are also nearby, rather, is our current position information. So let's scroll up and down a little bit. Let's see if we can, first of all, increase our view here. And let's scroll up a bit. Looks like we have a changing value here that is continually changing, even though nothing is currently regenerating. So that's probably like a timer or a ticker. See nothing there. A little bit more. Nope. See anything there. All right. Well, I'm not seeing it near the player object either, so that's unfortunate. Let's start our scan again from the initial value, and I'm not going to make you sit through it again. You saw me do it before, but this time I'm going to be a little bit more methodical and careful, and I will get back to you when I've got my values nailed down. Hold on a sec. I think I might have just thought of an even easier way to do this, because when we did the Unbearable Revenge quest, we noticed that sea level was at like between it was like 98 point something or thereabouts. So we can just go to the water, and then we can do a scan for a value between 98 and 99. And then we can scan for an increased value, and there's a giant rat coming at me here. And then go a little bit higher, and that should go a long way to weeding things out, because it starts us out with relatively few additional values. Okay, and then we'll search for a decreased value here. And next scan, and now we're going to do a scan value between, scan again. All right, now we are pretty much there. We've got 11 values, and wow, that is weird, huh? Now I'm beginning to think that some of these may not be what we're looking for either, because going from 98 to over 1,000 like that seems real fast. I'm in an area where there's giant rats, by the way, obviously. But that's okay. Let's head somewhere a little bit safer, where we're away from the rats, and start testing these values because could be they could be, I guess, what we're looking for. All right, let's get rid of these guys. And let's start here at the bottom. Jump. No. All right, let's do the binary search method because this is going to take us forever. So let's do like these ones, and oops, and the address list, this, that, and then jump. Yep. Okay. So one of our values here in the list is our z-axis. Let's go down here and lose like half of them, and then try again. Okay. So it's in that second half. So let's try the bottom two. Nope. So it's one of these two. So let's try this one. That's it. We've done it. All right, let's label this one. This is our Z position. All right. Now, if we browse this memory region, where go. Now, if we jump, got it. Let's move up a little bit because Z is probably going to be at the end of our list. All right, so we are seeing what changes when we jump. All of those are associated with some Z position in space. And if we move forward, we should see other values changing. We do. We've got this group of 3 here, and this group of 3 here. Those are probably our X and Y positions. So let's go to this address. I'm just going to copy that location, move this off to the side, add address manually. Let's add that address, and whoops. Okay, let's lock that and see. Yeah, so we can move along this axis just fine. If I try to move forward or backward relative to my current position, we're locked. So that's going to be either X or Y. We don't know exactly which because we have absolutely no idea what our current orientation is. So okay then, let's bring this back. And if I move in the other direction, this is probably the block or the address for our next position. Copy that position and this, and let's add this address manually. That's also a float. Okay, we're good. And this should be our Y position. Let's lock all 3 and see if we can do anything. So can't move forward, can't move side, can't move side, can't move on Z. All right, we got our locations. Now we're ready to start teleporting. And if you're not familiar with the way any of this operates, yes, of course it is possible to package this all up in a way that makes it much easier to do these exploits. You can do trainers where the push of a button you can make these changes. We haven't bothered yet, and I've been considering doing that because that might be a good learning experience. It depends entirely on how quickly we get through the actual material that we need. If we can actually complete the assignments and I have time before the end of the course, yeah, I'll go through a video on how to package all this up. That's fine. All right, let's get our locations from Notepad here. And I'm going to slap this on the side of the screen. Come on now, Doc. And let's do a split screen with, where is it? Okay. Cheat engine, stop it. Okay, I have no idea. Oh, I'm sorry, let me make this a little bit easier to read by keeping it all on one line. Oh, and you can't see because the game is in the way. Okay, let's do that. Okay. That will work just fine. All right. Get rid of the memory region so I can see what's going on. All right. I have no idea which of the eggs I've already captured. I've got 2 of them in my inventory. But that's fine. We'll just do this. Oh, I'm still locked. Oh, that's right. I want to be locked. All right. So now in this list of vectors, the last digit that we see here is probably z. That's usually the way it goes. I have no idea if the first two values are x or y. Generally speaking, the way that they're organized is x, y, z. And in the case of quaternions, it's usually x, y, z, w. But I'm fairly confident that the last number in each of these vector lists is z. But even if the position that we're looking at here is x, y, z, I still have no idea if my x and y, as I've labeled them, are really x and y as they're being listed here. So we're going to try our first location. And if we end up like in some weird place underground or something like that, well, then I know I need to flip my values. If I end up someplace where reasonably an egg could or does exist, then we'll know that it is where we should be. So let's change this to, this is negative 25045.0. Okay, well, we are in the game world and in the grass. So let's change the other assumed value, 18085. And we are over here by the unbearable woods, okay? Let's change our Z position to 260, so we'll be somewhere underground, and we are in a cave. Oh, I know where we are. Hold on, let me get rid of our position locking here so that the camera stops jittering. I know where we are. This is the location of one of the eggs that we found. It was, yeah, as a matter of fact, right here on this rock. I found this accidentally in one of the previous videos, and I decided to pick it up. So, yeah, it seems like this will work just fine. We definitely are in a real place where an egg existed. So that means my X, Y, and Z, as I've guessed, must be good. It must be the right orientation. I just got lucky. So negative 51,570 are out in the middle of basically nowhere. Negative 61215, and now we are somewhere under the world. But we need to be significantly higher than we currently are, so 5020. And oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was concerned that we were somewhere where, in a weird spot, but yes, this is where another egg was. This is where the second egg I found was located. And let me unlock my position. And this was in a tunnel at the starter cave. So at the starter cave, if you look up, you can see that there's a tunnel where you can see the sun or moon or whatever that's supposed to be. And you can't get there unless you come in either from the top or fly up. So yes, this was the location of another egg. Let's see, the next one then, since I only have 2 eggs, the next one should be a location where an egg does still indeed exist. So 24, 5, 12. And I am, this is out in the ocean again. 69682. Somewhere in Pirate Bay under, or in the village. 659. Yes, in a place in a house in the village. So I guess I must have totally just walked right past this before. But we are at a location of golden eggs, so this will work just fine. We are going to get this one done easy. We're at 33 minutes. This is going to be a 1-episode quest. All right, we're on number 4. 453. Negative 17,409. And 2939. We are where are we? It's a cave. Let's grab the egg. But where is cave? Oh, is this that one like weird cave that I was like, hey, I should go and explore that, and then didn't? I should probably get my fly hack working, because then I'd be able to just easily zoom up and see where I'm at. I just want to figure out where I am here. Curious more than anything else. Is this the... Where the hell? Oh, this is just a random cave somewhere on the back of the island, and there's bears over here. Yeah, now I need to get away from the bears, or they're going to kill me before I have a chance to teleport to the next egg. I have no idea where this is. Is this... Whoops. Where is that? Oh, that's... Okay, so it's just a random cave somewhere over on the back side of the island. Okay, then next... Lock our positions again, and this one's 1522 and 14966. And why am I not teleporting where I need to be? And 7022. Did I just happen to be standing in the right spot? Okay. Picking up an egg. I have no idea where this is either. I can see how this one might be difficult to get if you're not able to teleport, though, because, I mean, you could fall wherever we are, but it doesn't look like you're going to be able to get out unless you can teleport. Okay. 11604. Negative 13131. 411. Okay, something went wrong there. 11604. Oh, negative 130. 31. There we go. Egg. This looks to be... Is this back at the pirate village again? Oh, it's under the bridge. The bridge that heads over to the other part of the island where the gold farm is over there somewhere. Alright. Negative 72,667. Negative 53,567. 6045. In a crevasse somewhere. 48,404. 117. 704. In a Pony Express station. In which Pony Express station? I have no idea. Okay. You know, I'm having some issues here with the Pony Express station. Not that it really matters anymore now that we can teleport, but it doesn't have all of the locations visible. There was a Pony Express on the island with the cows, but we don't have that one. Not that it matters, we can just teleport where we need to go, I guess. 5, negative 57, 40. And 49, 28. We have another egg in another random crevasse. Let me stop the camera jittering before I have a seizure. And let's check. Okay, we do indeed have 9 of 10 golden eggs. So, on to the last golden egg, where we think we have figured out our trick. But let's first teleport to the location we have for the egg itself, just to see if maybe it is there. And I am wrong about there being a trick, because that would be just fine with me. Info 5. We are here at Balmer Peak. There is no egg, so since I know I collected eggs 1 and 2 already, I know that this is not one of the ones that was missing. So if we go back to Ghidra, I'm gonna take this, just a quick clip of what I have here in Ghidra. And plop this in over here. Move this up a little bit. All right, so this is what I was able to find. When I was searching back, I went from Balmer Peak egg, which led me to Balmer Peak poster, which led me to Balmer Peak poster damage, right? So we got a function in the Balmer Peak poster class. And that led me to Cowboy Coder. So if I am correct in my assumptions, we need to damage a poster with the Cowboy Coder, which is our revolver. But I do remember there was a comic that I read, which I thought was over here. Must be on the... Oh, there it is. So this, I'm guessing, is the poster. It's the only thing up here, unless I'm missing something out here. Or there's another area or something that I'm missing. And I guess it's this comic. So, damage it. Hold on. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I know that everyone is sick of hearing about their car's extended warranty. But let me tell you, the only thing that's possibly more irritating than that is getting regular phone calls from people claiming to be from Tech Target or Dell or Microsoft wanting to send you white papers. They call me 4 or 5 times a day. And they're not robocalls. They're real people in some call centers halfway across the world. Ask them to take me off the list, and they don't. And so it's really annoying because they call me on my work line, so I have to pick up. Anyway, we shot the poster. I don't see any damage, though. And I also, the function does not let me know how much damage I need to do. So I didn't hear a tone or see a message or anything, but let's go and see if the egg is in the egg is in the spot. We did it! The flag of the egg hunter. Excellent, 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 excellent. Well, that was nice and easy. You know, after struggling with unbearable revenge, trying to get the infinite health going for half a week, it is very good to have a nice, easy one to work with. So, perfect. However, our next challenge, I believe, will not be quite so simple. I believe we are on Fire and Ice next. Nope, we're on Pirate's Treasure. So I have a feeling that one's going to be a bear, too. So, Pirate's Treasure, unless we can probably get over there relatively quickly. We probably teleport there since several of the eggs were very close by to that, but that's fine. Let's just zoom over there. The pirate one, according to what I've heard, requires writing a keygen or a keygen, which is basically what we're going to do is we're going to need to reverse engineer the function that checks for the validity of codes that are entered and then generate a valid code based upon whatever that looks like. I have not seen this function. I don't know if it even actually exists. I might be completely wrong, but see all this anymore, so let's get that done. So this is the chest we now need to, and if we open it, it says Pirate's Treasure DLC. Enter your unlock code below to obtain your new items. So if we hit unlock, not valid, close, okay, try again. Let's try delete. And what am I doing? Of course, this is supposed to be Eat. No? So, I don't know. But I have a feeling that one's not going to be as easy, because reverse engineering those kinds of functions are there. It's not difficult, but it can be very confusing and rather time consuming, and I fell off the boat. And that's it. We managed to do this in about 45 minutes today, all things considered. So, fantastic. I hope you had just as easy a time as I did. If you figured out teleportation to do Unbearable Revenge, this should be as easy for you as it was for me. If you did something else for Unbearable Revenge, then I guess figuring out teleportation shouldn't be that difficult. I showed you exactly how to do it. So, all right. Start working on the next one.